Hey everybody, it's fabulous to see you again this morning. I'm so glad you're here in Northern Illinois with me, Rita Hickman, body mind expert, shiatsu massage therapist, stress management butterfly. Thank you for joining us on a beautiful spring day. The cold and the snow haven't killed off my crocuses. So it's a beautiful day in my yard. I don't get to see much of it though because I've been pretty busy lately. The practice has just been doing great. So anyways, today's topic is about untying the knots in your stomach without self-medicating yourself for them. So, I'll be the first one to say that when I'm stressed out, my digestive system totally goes whack job. And in fact, at some of the worst times in my life, when I went to the doctor, they said, you have IBS. The problem when you hold your stress in your stomach is it does turn into things like IBS, or it does turn into things like Crohn's. Hey, Lisa, great to see you. It does turn into Crohn's. It does turn into digestive problems or overeating, because those are all kind of ways that you're trying to manage the stress that you feel, in your stomach area. Now, why do we sometimes hold stress there? Well, for one reason, we've got a lot of sensors there, a lot of nerves, a lot of awarenesses. Our gut's considered another brain of our body, in fact. Our gut, our heart, and, our brain and our head. Hey, Beverly. Those are the three main brains that our body has. And so our gut has a lot of awareness to what's going on around us, and it will be one of the first things to respond to stress. Add to the fact that it's one of the most vulnerable parts of our body. We don't have a rib cage. It's the front of us. There's nothing protecting it. It's our vulnerable soft part. And so that's considered our center, our core. In Asian medicine, it's considered our hara. So, when we get stressed out, we sense it there, and a lot of times it locks up. Now, there's different degrees of, your stomach locking up. I totally get that. And sometimes when it's, when you've passed that line, you just have to do anything that you can do to make yourself feel better. So, hey, Owen, nice to see you. So, my go-to usually is crystallized ginger or ginger of any sort. And if you take ginger of any sort, it will calm down a lot of your stomach issues. So I keep ginger around almost all the time, just in case I need it, just in case, I'm noticing that I'm kind of getting too far off my edge. But let's say you don't want to take anything at all. As I said, there's degrees. There's fine, then there's your stomach starting to get a little stressed out, then there's your stomach is in distress, and then there's, okay, all bets are off, we're done. So, if you're done, do whatever you have to do to make yourself feel better. That's a given. If you're pretty stressed out and your stomach's all knotted up, hey, Daniel, I would suggest ginger. That's a great holistic thing. But let's say it's just a little bit stressed. I always say the right tool for the right job, and if you get too used to using one thing, peppermint oil on the belly works too. You're right, Lisa. Thanks. If you get too used to using one thing to solve your problem, it stops working. And so really in your toolbox, you need a wide variety of tools to use, because you don't want to be dependent on any one thing, and then your body doesn't get too used to using it. So super stressed out, do whatever you have to do, to survive. Pretty stressed out, I'd say crystallized ginger. A little bit stressed out, I'm going to give you my my tool and my tip that I like to use. Let's say you're just a little bit uncomfortable. Hey, Hubba, let's say you're a little bit uncomfortable. If you put your hand on your stomach and you tell your body to release the tension and to release the heat, and you give yourself about 20-30 minutes, your body will do exactly that. I like to add water to the mix too, because if you have a little bit of water, that gets things moving in your digestive system working too. So I'm going to repeat what you do. If you're just a little bit stressed and you're just trying to manage, get through your day, you put your hand on your stomach or something warm on your stomach, heating pad, warmed, rice pillow, something like that. and you tell your body, you tell your stomach to release the heat and to release the tension. You say it in your mind and you kind of put a little bit of focus on that area. And if that area is too uncomfortable, if your abdomen's too uncomfortable, then talk to, let's say, your hand, if your hand is resting on your belly. Hey, Kathy, good to see you. You tell your hand, talk to your hand, because it's a little bit safer than going into your stomach. Because when something's uncomfortable, we need to avoid it a little bit because it's too uncomfortable to go into. And if your stomach's starting to knot up and tie up, sometimes it's right on the edge and you don't want to go into it because it's too knotted up. So instead you can go above it, to your hand that's resting on it, or the pillow that's resting on it, something like that. Hey, Nikila. Now, why does this work? Why does telling your body to release the tension and release the heat works? Think of your conscious mind as the bus driver of your bus. You still have the route, you still have the things that you need to do, places you need to go, and the bus is going to respond however it does to all the insane children that are on it. But your mind, your conscious mind, gets to direct your body what you want it to do. That's its job. Those 2 to 3 tablespoons of gray matter that you consider your conscious mind, directs what goes on in your body. If you stop directing what's going on in your body, then it goes onto automatic pilot. And that's when we lock up. That's when we start having problems, knee problems, hip problems, heart problems, head problems, because we've left it to the gods, let's say. We've left it to the universe to decide for us how we're going to feel. But you actually get to determine how your body feels and what your body does. And when you give it clear direction, it responds. It may only respond for a second, and then fall back into its pattern, but it's that repetition. And if you keep telling it what to do and the same thing over and over, it starts to listen. So when you put your hand on your stomach, and you tell your stomach to relax, release the tension, release the heat that's in there, your body takes a little bit to respond, but it starts responding. It starts releasing the heat. You'll feel it even if you rest your hand on it. You'll start to feel your stomach get hotter. You'll start to feel different parts of your stomach, as layers relax and peel off. You may still feel tension, but you'll feel it getting closer and closer to the core rather than a total lockdown. You'll feel the layers coming off until finally your digestive system comes back online. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm relaxed enough now that I can go do what I need to do. You might not be Zen, Buddha sitting in a cave, but enough that you're back into a balance that you can manage. So this tip works really well for just about any physical thing that you want to do to yourself. If you tell yourself to relax, 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 your body will start to respond to that. If you tell yourself love over and over and over, your body starts to respond to that. It's one of the reasons I listen to music, and I'll plug it directly into my head. Hey, Cheryl, because the words change my thoughts, and my thoughts change how my body feels. It might not change anything out in my external world. The stressor may still be there, the person, the situation is still there. But what it does change, it changes how I feel. Now, you can't expect things to be instantaneous, which is, what we tend to have in our give it to me now sort of world. And that's the mistake a lot of people make. They try something and then they say, oh, it didn't work. I gave it 30 seconds. I gave it 5 minutes. It didn't work. Your body takes a little bit of time. It's got a little bit of a lag before it actually follows your direction. And so you need to keep coming back at it. You need to keep telling it to release the tension, telling it to release the heat, and it will. Now, let's say it's your knee. You can do the same thing with your knee. You put your hand on your knee, and you put your focus on your knee, and you tell your knee to relax and release the heat. And it will start to do that. You'll start to feel the heat coming off of it onto your hand. Same thing with your heart. Same thing with your head. Hey, Stevie, you can tell your body exactly what you want it to do. And if you give it usually about 20 to 30 minutes, then it will start to respond. I like to use this before stuff gets too far, before I fall off my cliff and all bets are off. But if you use this tip on a regular basis, then you won't end up, crashing into crashing into a wall, because you would have taken care of it before it became a problem. This is really my rule of thumb for just about anything. Live your life, do what you do. Hey, Sharon, but catch it as quick as you can so that you can course correct. And the faster you catch it, the better off you're going to be. Of course, there's going to be things that surprise you or blindside you or that you don't notice. And that's when I said you do what you got to do. If you have to take a Xanax, if you have to take an anti-anxiety, if you have to take a muscle relaxant, do that. But if that's all you're dependent upon, you know that eventually this is going to cause real physical problems for you. So you need to save stuff like that for emergencies and use the right tool for the right job. So when you're just a little bit stressed, put your hand, or something warm or some weight or on where you're feeling it. And today we're talking about knots in your stomach. And tell your stomach to relax and release the heat, to release the tension. There are no magic words. There is no specific way you're supposed to say it, so don't get caught up in that. It's just about taking back your control and your power and telling your body, this is what I want you to do. Your conscious mind really has a ton of control over your body. It really, really does. You have to give it a little bit of time. You have to keep your focus there, and you have to trust in the process. And if you do, you'll start to notice that you can control how your body feels. Now, this is a form of biofeedback, and this has been around for ever, because this is how the body works. When we tell the body what we want it to do, it does respond. And so if your stomach is starting to feel a little bit anxious, and it's not, because you ate spicy food the other night or you ate ice cream, it's not something like that. It's because of an external vulnerability that you feel. Do this trip. Put your hand on your stomach or something that's weighted, no matter where you are, doctor's office, work, in the car, in bed in the morning. Put your hand on your stomach and tell your body, kind of direct your attention there, and tell your stomach to relax, release the heat, release the tension, and keep that focus on it for about 20 minutes. And if you do that, you'll notice a change, and it'll dial it down enough so you can get on with your day. Okay? So, here's your homework for today. When you start feeling a little bit of something, and it doesn't just have to be in your stomach, it can be anywhere. If you start to feel a little bit of something, I want you to, no matter what you're doing, you can keep doing whatever it is that you're doing, but I want you to also put your hand wherever it's bothering you, your stomach or anywhere else, and in the back of your mind, your conscious mind is doing what it's doing, but in the back of your mind, keep telling yourself, relax, release the heat, release the tension. And if that's the message you're giving yourself, your body's going to respond, okay? So that's your homework assignment. I want you to practice it. I want you to try it out and see how it works. Good. I'm so glad you're going to try it out, Kathy. It works for, small amounts of tension, so you can course correct fast. So you don't want to wait until it becomes something that's big and out of control. Okay, so share your love, share your comments, share your tips, peppermint oil, ginger, anything that you've used to help, dial down the tension in your stomach. I'd love to hear from you. Share this, love it, like it, and be part of our great community that we're growing of nice people who are trying to survive and really be the best that they can be. Okay, so thanks for joining us, Philip, right at the end. I hope you're able to watch the replay. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.